Topic 10, the cardiovascular system. Hi, my name is Cherise, an agriculture student, and in this video, our discussion will only focus on the cardiovascular system. So, without further ado, let's begin. The organs of the circulation or the cardiovascular system are the following. Number 1, the heart. This is the central pumping organ located in the center of the lungs, in the mediastinal space of the thoracic cavity opposite to the third and fourth ribs. So partially surrounded by serosac, the pericardium, which first nagprevents the overdilation of the heart. Next is provides smooth surface for hearts, then hold the heart to fix the position and assist in the relaxation of the heart. So what are the layers of the heart? Heart has numerous layers. First, we have the epicardium. Second is myocardium, the muscle that forms the walls for the chambers of the heart. Next is the endocardium. Then, we have mentioned the chambers of the heart. Unsa man ni sila? The chambers of the hearts are separated by septum. These are right atrium na nag-receive sa blood into the heart gikan sa lawas from veins. Next is the right ventrum that pumps the blood to the lungs. Next is the left atrium that receives blood into the heart from the lungs. Then the fourth chamber is the left ventricle na mao'y nagpump sa blood out to the arteries. Next is the valves of the heart. Unsa man ni sila? Atrioventricular or AV valves. The left is bicuspid or sometimes called the mitral valve, and then the right is the tricuspid or the right AV valve. Next is the semilunar or SL valve. This prevents the blood from returning into the ventricles. Next we have the aortic SL valves, then the pulmonary SL valves. Now, what is cardiac circulation? The cardiac circulation is the heart produces electrical impulses through a process called cardiac conduction. The impulses cause the heart to contract and then relax. Contract, relax, producing a heartbeat. Muna na heartbeat ang tao. The heartbeat na drives the cardiac cycle which pumps blood to cells and tissues of the body. So the upper chamber of the heart, the atrium or the atria, is where the blood enters the heart, and then it passes through the valve. Blood enters to the lower chamber, the ventricle. Construction of the ventricle forces blood from the heart through the artery. Then the aorta is the main artery leaving the heart. The pulmonary artery is the only artery that carries oxygen for blood. So, muna siya. Then, the pulmonary artery, karga na siya deoxygenated blood from the lungs. In the lungs, the gas exchange occurs. Diha na itabo. Carbon dioxide diffuses out and then the oxygen diffuses in or nisulod. The cardiac cycle consists of two parts, the systole and the diastole, the relaxation of the heart muscle. Then atria contract while the ventricle relax. So the pulses or the pulse is a wave of contraction transmitted along the arteries. The valves in the heart open and close during the cardiac cycle. And the heart muscle contraction is tungod sa presence sa nodal tissues in two regions sa heart. Unsa man yung region? The SA nodes or the sinoatrial nodes that initiates the heartbeat. Then the AV node na mo'y rason nga nag-contract ang ventricles. The CA node is usay ginatawag na siyang peacemaker since it keeps the heartbeat regular kanaganing dili paspas dili hinay. Heartbeat is also controlled by nerve messages originating from the autonomic nervous system. Unsa man ni? Blood flows through the heart from veins to atria to ventricles by arteries. The heart valves limit flow to a single direction, one heartbeat or cardiac cycle. This includes the atrial contraction and relaxation. So movement, the ventricular contraction and relaxation, and a short pause. So muna iyang control. The normal cardiac cycles or at rest takes 8 seconds. And then, and then blood from the body flows into the vena cava, which empties into the right atrium. At the same time, ang oxygenated blood nga gikan sa lungs mo flow na siya gikan sa pulmonary veins hantud dito sa left atrium. Then the muscle of both atria kay mo contract, forcing the blood downward through each AV valve into each ventricle. So, diastole na mention nato ni ganiya is the filling of the ventricles with blood. Then the ventricular systole opens the SL valves na nagapugo sa blood na mugawa sa ventricles through the pulmonary artery or aorta. Then the sound of the heart contracting and the valves opening and closing produces a characteristic mo mag-ingon na lubdub mo na iyang sound. Lub is associated with closure, mo close ang AV valves. Dub is closing of the SL valves. Lubdub nga na. So heartbeats are coordinate constructions of heart cardiac cells. When two or more of such cells are in proximity to each other, their contraction sync up and they beat as one. So muna naibite. So pulmonary circulation usama ni transports the oxygenated blood from the right side of the heart to the lungs, and it picks up the CO2 regulate the side of the heart. So when we say when we also say the systematic circulation, when it pasabot is it carries oxygenated blood from the left side of the heart to the tissues of the body. So opposite sila itong isa. It removes waste from body tissues and return the oxygenated blood to the heart. Fetal circulation, the exchange of nutrients, water, and oxygen and carbon dioxide from the dam to her fetus, which occurs between the fetal blood in the fetal placenta and maternal blood in the uterus of the dam without any actual interchange of blood from one to another. So, the blood vessels, on the other hand, muna sila yung mga network of tubes, mga gagmay nga tubes, na nagtransport sa blood sa tibuok lawas. While ang arteries o ang arterioles, kay muna sila gadala sa blood palayo sa heart, normally oxygenated, except for pulmonary and umbilical arteries. So, arterioles delivers blood to the capillaries. The veins and the venules, muna sila gadala sa blood paingon sa heart. So, the venules, ilang i-pick up ang heart gikan sa capillaries, then ihatod na sa larger veins for transport back to the heart. So, gikan na to, i-transfer na po sa heart. The capillaries is the tiny tube acting as selective membranes nga naga-connect or nagalay siya between the arteries and the veins. This is the pinakagamay and pinakaganiwang nga blood vessels that enables the exchange of H2O, O2, and CO2 nutrients for waste chemical substances within blood and tissues. So, kasi kita kiskot og blood, usa man na the blood. The blood is the bodily fluid that delivers nutrients and oxygen to cell and removes the waste produced during the cellular processes. It is composed of blood cells suspended in the blood plasma. Kung sa maning plasma, plasma constitutes is like 55% of blood fluid and mostly H2O. So 92% contains proteins, glucose, mineral ions, hormones, CO2, and blood cells. Also albumin or the main protein that regulates the colloidal pressure of the blood. So this composed of the following. So plasma. Unsa ang plasma? Plasma is a fluid portion of the blood. Then the corpuscles, the red and white blood cells, the platelets, also called as thrombocytes, are oval discs formed in the bone marrow. They play an important part in the blood clotting and coagulation. Munang pag-ubos ng platelets sa animals or sa tawo, ang mahitabo kay kinahanglan i-admit for diagnosis. Red blood cells are the non-nucleated or biconcave auricular disc. This contains the hemoglobin and iron containing protein for transport of oxygen and red color. So, most abundant in vertebrate blood, then reversibly bind to O2 and greatly increase its solubility in blood. The fraction occupied by the red cell is called hematocrit. So, muna ang what is the white blood on the other hand, or the white blood cells? This is the nucleated, help to resist infections and parasites, identify, destroy, and remove pathogens, damage cells, cancer cells, and foreign matter from the body. So, natural na siyang nagkukur sa lawas. It has independent movement, like the type of WBC. Granulocytes with granule sacs containing digestive enzymes or other substances. The neutrophils, on the other hand, most abundant in granulocyte is a phagocytic, act as a lysosomes. Then, we have the basophils. The least numerous of WCs, granules that contains heparin and histamine, which are responsible para sa mga allergic responses. While the agranulocyte is wala na siya granules nga large molecules. Well, then ang monocytes kay mo na siya largest WBC na nagde-develop into macrophages and dendritic cells. While the lymphocytes is the second most common WBC. The different types of the lymphocytes is O T cells and B cells. Critical for specific immune responses, natural killer cells provide non-specific immunity. So, that's it for the topic 10. See you in the next video.